But even so, 2 months, 2 or 3 months, it's not a long time. And especially not a week or 2 weeks. Nothing changes within 1 or 2 weeks. And you can't do anything, anyway. You cannot prevent the next world war. And you cannot prevent even a war within you. You can't even prevent the war within your family. Because you are the one who is creating this war. And if we have a special look at ourselves, how we're creating this war within us. With this anger coming up and the greed coming up, and fighting ourselves or fighting our views and constantly rectifying our causes, You think it's a lot of fun? So why do you do it? Well, get to know it, why you do it and how you do it. And then get rid of it. It causes a lot of nuisance. It causes a lot of anguish. So why you do it because you're used to do it. You don't see that you constantly burn your heart. I mean, burn your heart is, making it dissatisfied, making agitating the heart. See it, and if the heart really sees it, then it lets go of it. But if you're just thinking about, this is not good, and then the next moment you're just doing the same thing again, and the same thing again, and the same thing again. And there's no end to it if you don't put an end to it. So we are the ones who are in charge of it. Well, first we have to train to get in charge of it. And then we have to be responsible to keep in charge of it. And the tendency of the mind is to go out, to go for a stroll, And whatever he brings back, we take it. We take it as granted. And the memory to be taken as granted, the feelings we take in as granted. Yeah? It's like inviting, a lot of hooligans within our house, Hello, come in, let's ruin our apartment or our flat or whatever, our house, And then who is the one who pays the price after the hooligans go? We. And it's the same, inviting the hooligans in our mind or in our heart, They make a mess out of it. So next time better be careful. Who is coming into your house. You do that in the world. You do it. You don't let anybody in, do you? You just check, who is it, or you ask who is it, and if it's convenient, you let him in, If it's a nice person, you let him in. Otherwise, you just close the door. And you can do the same thing with the heart, The thoughts that shouldn't come in, you don't let come in. Or replace them, with good thoughts. Or replace them at least, with Buddha, until you get the ability. Don't even worry, how long it takes, it will take. If you always think, when we start from here to Beijing, how long it takes the walk. Then we'll never get there. And we say, that's too far, That's too far. But if we just go every day, our 5 or 6 kilometers, then we will end up there. Sooner or later. Without being exhausted at all. But we just think of how far is it, and then this is keeping us, okay, let's go in a restaurant. Or in a hotel, or have some fun on the beach, Isn't it? You know what fun on the beach is? I explained it quite a few times. Fun on the beach is, to heat oneself up, to lay in the sun, to get burnt until one can't bear the pain anymore, and then one jumps in the cold water, and then one feels relieved. And then one goes, after the water is too cold, one goes back out in the sun and heats himself up. And that is what we call the utmost pleasure. Now think about it in this way. We heat ourselves up until we cannot stand anymore this heat. Until it's really burning our body. And then we jump back in the cold water. And then we think this is the utmost pleasure. It's just somebody, who puts his hand into the fire, and then he has a cold bucket and he puts it in the cold bucket, and the relief of the pain is such utmost pleasure. We don't think about it because we just do it. We like to do it, We don't think about it. It's a nice example, But it holds for most of our, what we call pleasure. Be it sexual pleasure, we heat ourselves up, and then we want this orgasm. If you can't get it, then we are really in trouble. Where is the sexual energy going then? Or if you don't have a cold bucket, well, where is this heat going? It dissipates very slowly. So think about it, And that's what we call the utmost pleasure in the world. But because we don't see it with our right eyes, we don't see it, We don't see it in the way, It overcomes us, and then we need to do it. We don't see how we actually create it. If we would see how we create it, then we could stop it. We always create it because there's something unpleasant within us. We want to do this, we either want to go to eat, or we want to go to drink, or want to go here, or want to go there, or want to read a book, or want to listen to music, just because something unpleasant is happening within our heart. That makes a change. We want to escape from it. So when we want to do something, or just, talking to somebody else, just check in our heart, what is going on? What is really going on? And if there's an unpleasant feeling, then stay with the unpleasant feeling until it has changed. And then there is no need to do anything anymore. Straight. Just wait until it's gone. And if it was unpleasant, it will change into something pleasant. If it was pleasant, it will change into something unpleasant. And that is the nature of things. It changes from one thing to the other. And we can't stand it, and that's why we go. That's why most of our activities are done because of this reason. There's something unpleasant in our heart. An unpleasant experience, an unpleasant feeling, an unpleasant memory, And then we keep thinking instead, of seeing it, okay, and stopping it there. We keep thinking about it and making it worse. We really make it worse, thinking about it and memorizing about it and then making it worse, making it hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter until we can't stand it anymore. And then we have to go and change it. Just get some mindfulness, just a little bit of mindfulness in your life, what you're doing. Ask yourself, when you're out, ask yourself, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? You can start training it here. There are not too many activities, so it's easier to catch. Why I'm doing it? Oh, it's cold, and cold is unpleasant. Oh, well, it's hot, because hot is unpleasant. There's never right, The right this is just perfect, doesn't exist in our world. It's either hot or it's cold, or it's this or it's that. The right doesn't exist. So when we wait for the right moment, it will never come. It just passes, It's a small transition from pleasant to unpleasant, that's right. And it passes very fast. It's just one point on the sinus wave. When you call the upper wave, the positive wave form, it's a it's a pleasant, and the lower wave form is the unpleasant. So the point, where it really goes from one to the other, where it's really right, it's just one single moment. So we don't catch it. We are always afraid of losing something. Then better ask, what are we going to lose? What can there be lost that has not been already lost? What can we achieve in this life? What kind of lasting effect does it have on us? We can become a mother or a father or an engineer or a physician or a physicist or whatever, or a teacher or just a worker. But what has it to do? At the end, we all die. Does it make any difference to die as an engineer or to die as just an ordinary worker? A king has to die, and just a slave has to die the same way. But what have we made out of our life? That is the most important question. What is it that we can take back with us? We know we can't take any material things, so money is not really worth. We cannot take our house with us. We cannot take our children or wife with us or husband with us. So what can we take with us? Our parents die before us, normally. We can't take them with us. So what can we take with us? Interesting. But when we look how we set up our life, then we invested in all these things that all vanish sooner or later. Our name will vanish, our fame will vanish, our money will vanish, our house will vanish, everything vanishes. So we invested it into a fruitless work, It's just like the little kids, who build a sandcastle on the beach. The next morning they come, the sandcastle is gone, They build it up again, they don't mind. And the next day we build it up again, and build it up again, and build it up again. Do you want to do that? It's pretty fruitless, it's pretty useless. This is the same way, we build up the I, constantly. I'm like this. That's how it changes, also during time. 5 years ago you thought you were like this. In 5 years you think you're like that. So who are you really? What is it what is constant? What is it what remains? And that's why I said, why samadhi is so important, to get a sense, to get there, for one time, at least for one time, and to put all one's effort and all one's determination in actually to get there. To see the true nature of self. To see the preview of Nibbana. To see what is left, to see what we have to take care of. But when we go in the deep state of Nibbana, everything is perfect. Oh. Everything is perfect in itself, just perfect. The whole world, is perfect in itself. We don't have to change a thing at the world. But now when we look at our views and opinions, how much do we have to change? We have to change our surroundings, we have to change our families, we have to change our lovers, whatever, we have to change them. Because they don't live up to our standards. And our standards are the only ones that count. Rethink it again. Get to know the true nature of ourselves. Get to know the true nature of the chitta. That does not change. It has never been changed. And it will not change. And it's the only resting place that we have in this world. Or in all kinds of worlds. That's where we can feel at peace, at harmony. That's where we can be our true self. So what hinders you? Go in there. Now make some effort. Make a little bit of effort, All these worldly things, keep us. Our past, what is our past? Then reflect, If you can't if you can't just push it aside with the word Buddha or with taking concentration on then ask, what is the past? What actually is it? What is it made of? What is it made of? It's made of memories, it's made of feelings, it's made of, the body. But mostly it's memories. How we've been, how the body has been, how the feelings have been, what the thoughts have been. So what is it, Can you hold it? Can you fix it down? Can you... Huh? And what is the future? So why do you plan up ahead, Now, because the mind gets entangled, It's one of the senses, that we enjoy through the body, the thinking. Mind wants to think about this, think about that, and plans, And of course, in its plan, in its future, the future is rose red, Wonderful, beautiful. Everything in the future is beautiful, and everything here now at the present moment is ugly, and disgusting. How can it be? Not just think about it. How can it be? It's just like this person, who thinks of being rich, who is actually very poor, and thinks of being rich and what he can do all with his riches. And he thinks lying on his back, and thinks all the time. He's happy during this time, but when he wakes up, he's still as poor as he was before. You can call it mind masturbation, it's the same thing. It just exhausts the mind. But where is true happiness? If you really understand what I'm saying, where is true happiness arising? It's arising here in the chitta, nowhere else. And that's where we can find it. So go ahead and find it. But remember, when I'm talking about this kind of samadhi, we have to investigate a little bit, get some of the bigger hindrances out of the way, and we have to keep the sila. Because if you understand what I explained, these three columns have to be raised at an even level. So when there's some hindrance in samadhi, when you really cannot get in that, maybe your sila is broke. Maybe you do not care about one of the precepts, or you do not care too much about it. Or maybe, you stack at, your past or your family, and then you have to investigate a little bit to get the hindrances out of the way. But the kind of hindrance you will know when you do samadhi. If it's one and the same topic coming up all the time, then you have to investigate. To get it out, to get it clear, to put it in the bits and pieces. How do we investigate? In the beginning, we put it in bits and pieces. What is this? This is a memory. Okay, this is a thought. This is a feeling. This is this. This is that. This is that. So what does it mean? And then ask, what does it mean? What does it give me? Nothing. When I dream about seeing my parents, brothers and sisters and lovers, he's not here, so what's the use of it? Dreaming about it. He's not here, so Or is he here? Yeah? No, he isn't. They are not here. So what's the use of dreaming about it? All what we can do now is live in the present moment. So when we meet him, then let's be open for that. But if he's not there, just don't even think about it. We have this misconcept, that love is something, we constantly have to think about a person. That is love, Attachment is love. But actually, this is the thing that gives us the most dukkha. True love, or really love, it's just like a loving mother to her child. Whatever it turns out, being in the bad way or good way, it still loves it. And still cares about it. But it's not constantly thinking about it. Loving kindness, towards the people. So if you have a lover that you love very much and your love is true, then if you find somebody else, just let him go and wish him well. That would be true love. The other thing is just selfish love. Because I want to keep him for myself, How can we think about this? I just want to keep him for myself, I want to keep the parents for myself, or I want to keep my brothers and sisters for myself. Let them be, whatever they do, wish them well. That is what real love is, and caring. We don't have to think about a lot about them. They have their own personality, they have their own lives, and they have to be get responsible for their own lives. So whatever they do, I hope, they're doing well with their decision. If they want to break off, hopefully they're doing well, But as long as we attach to them, as long as we take them as a part, and as an object, this is very selfish love. He has to be here. He has to be doing like this. He has to be acting like this. Now he has to be like this and this. And constantly, it's not a thing, It's not a class. Or it's not an object. It's an individual who has its own thought, his own feelings, his own memories. We just cannot grab him and take hold of him. This is not love. Love is, caring, caring about the well-being of the other person. That is love. So, and if the other person thinks, he's better off with another guy or with another woman, then just, But it's difficult, isn't it? So this is the misconcept of love, Actually, what we call love is very selfish. And what is true love is just the tender careness, Just the careness, that the other person is well, is happy. This would be true love. That he finds his own way. A mother and father who truly love their children, let them do, And if they think they want to get into this relationship, and they think, they advise them, maybe if they see some reason, they advise them that this might not be right. That has nothing to do with it. One can advise his partner, maybe you're going the wrong way, But if he still wants to go the wrong way, then wish him well for going the wrong way. What can you do? And so if parents see, that this child, just wants to be an artist and doesn't want to become an engineer, then they will do it, for the sake of the happiness of this child. But of course, if they're selfish, if they think as the son of or their daughter as their own personal thing, then of course they want to become them like this or like that, whatever they couldn't reach, they want to become their children. But that is very selfish. They don't respect that person itself. So love is really, when you look at the Western concept of love, it's really selfish love, what we say. There's not this metta, this loving kindness, wishing well for the other beings. So reflect upon, when you go back, at least do meditation. Practice daily. And now in the morning and now in the evening, that's not too much. What is it, 2 hours from 24 hours? And how much do you gain from these 2 hours? It's incountable. It's invaluable. Just from these 2 hours, now in the morning and an hour in the evening, you will have a balanced life. It's much more balanced. And the things don't take you, or they don't get you out of the track so easily. Whatever happened during the day, in the evening you relieve it. Just let it go. Like let the wind, don't fight the wind, just let it go through you. Don't fight the storm, just let it go through you. But if you want to catch it, if you fight against it, it makes you just, it's pretty useless. It's pretty useless, but we still do it. We fight against all the situations that happens to us in our life. We never reflected that whatever happens to us right now is the karma of our past actions, or the karma of our past speech, or the karma of our past thoughts. Whatever happens right now, we are the ones who created it in the past. And now when the moment we think about the future, then this law doesn't hold, Because what we are creating now is what we will reap in the future. So if it's now not good, how can it be in the future good? So better let's put the seeds, of goodness or well-being right now, and then of course, tomorrow we can be happy, or we can be contented, or can be satisfied. But if you don't put the seeds, for this happiness right now, and that you can do with practice, daily practice. That are the little seeds that you can put into. So don't forget it, and the books and the CDs you take with you, don't put them somewhere where you don't find them anymore. Read them once in a while, that they are not stories that get boring. It's something, whenever you reread it, it's something you always pick up something new. Or you pick up something, I forgot about this. It's not a story, there are no stories told in that one can remember and then one is bored of reading it. No, it's actually not. One forgets it pretty easily. So to listen always, even to listen to the same talk, for 3 hours to the same talk, it's fun. If you listen inside here. But of course, I know it. But it's the same with the Buddha. I know the Buddha, I'm bored of this Buddha, I'm bored of the breath. And this should give you a red light, the red light should go up and tell you, what is boredom? Actually, we are not interested in the Buddha. So, then it's boring. But if you're interested in the Buddha, it's not boring. They are bored. They are walking around. Stretching here and finding this food and this drink and that drink. And when they found that drink, they just go and sleep. Yeah? So, that's for today.